KFIR 550, 99.7 at iHeartRadio, the legendary voice of the Northern Plains. Guns in the 701. Gun control arguments coming from the other side of the aisle in 3, 2, 1. The father arrested and charged with second-degree murder, and didn't I hear he bought the gun as kind of a, well, you tell me. I guess I caught part of his story in it because I was in the middle of 12 things.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid if I could actually focus on one thing at a time.
Well, what was released out there is it sounds like the father, he's been arrested for second-degree murder, the way it sounds, and there's some other little charges with it. And they're basically holding him responsible. Now, kind of giving a backstory, these guys were both investigated about a year ago, the boy and his father. And, the Georgia Department of Investigation just declared, and I think rightfully so, that there probably was no grounds to arrest. I mean, they couldn't prove what happened. It was tied to I forget what kind of an account, but they couldn't prove that the kid actually had that account. So I think it was a Discord account. But the dad also stated that the guns were not, accessible to his son. They're unsupervised and couldn't be used. Well, we find out that he must have bought his kid an AR, the way it sounds, for Christmas. He's now 14 years old, and that's what he used supposedly in the shootings. Now, we talked about this before, Todd. Remember the Michigan case where the parents were held responsible?
Yep.
And we also had one out in Virginia where a mother was held responsible for her 6-year-old taking a gun. And, everybody's, oh, this is great, this is good. If the father is responsible for this, then, I'm in total agreement. But I'd like to have more information on it. That's my biggest issue. This is really teetering on that red flag law situation that everybody says, oh, if we had red flags, another gun control.
Yeah, you're right. That's just going to get used as the poster child now for that. You're right.
Yes.
We do need to keep an open enough mind and say it is possible. Let's investigate and see, but let's not convict beforehand. Here in America, you weigh evidence, then you convict or not convict, whichever.
Well, you're supposed to, but unfortunately, in our 5-second soundbite era, everybody convicts and everybody's a keyboard lawyer.
Well, I saw it on Facebook that blah, 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 so blah, blah. Okay, yeah. Let's use social media as our research.
I mean,
okay.
It's horrible. It is. It's a tragic situation. Was it preventable? I don't know. Everybody says it's preventable. You got the other side that they're saying this was preventable, and if we had an assault weapons ban, and both Biden and Harris have been out there touting this ever since it happened. Even before details came out, they didn't even know what kind of gun it was. And Harris was out there immediately saying we need an assault weapons ban and a magazine ban. You know what? None of those laws would have prevented any of this.
Since she's following Trump, maybe Trump should just say, I don't think there should be any kind of ban whatsoever. And then she'll
about that, right? She's trying to run on this platform.
How far can you take the whole... Yeah, this could have been prevented. Every single murder could have been prevented. You could apply that to anything. You could say, if somebody would have just accidentally run over Chapman with their bicycle, John Lennon would have been alive. I mean, where does it end?
Think about this. Now it slipped my mind. Like Charlie Manson. You realize they had him in jail. They had him arrested. They took away a shotgun. We used to have that shotgun out at NRA headquarters on display. Don't ask me how they got it for the museum. It was kind of cool to see.
Come on, man.
And then they released this guy who probably shouldn't have been released. Again, I don't know the details, but, we could have probably prevented something if he'd have been in jail. Could have, would have, should have, and it's not a...
How about we look forward and fix forward? How about we keep a sharp eye out? I give you that. But none of us have a DeLorean that goes back in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this ain't a gun problem. You've heard me say that many times. Jamie says it. We all have said this many times. This is a people problem. And if you look at the differences over time, going back, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, John, even when I was in high school, we had our rifles in our rifle racks, in our pickups on the school parking lot.
Right.
No problem. And we didn't even lock them. Completely not an issue. Wasn't even thought
Be
of.
back in time further. I mean, you took your weapon into if you put it in your locker, you didn't take it to English class with you or something.
Yep.
But there would be classes in which you would take them apart and learn to clean them and all that. So
we had a junior rifle program in our school. It wasn't, quote, sanctioned by the school in the way that other sports are. It was kind of like what the rodeo club was. But it did exist, and it was part of the school activities. And a lot of the guys that were in that particular event, in that sport, they had their rifles, guess what, in their lockers because, they rode the bus to town. Not only that, they rode on the bus with them, rode the bus to town, put it in their locker for safekeeping, had it locked, and then after school they practiced in our armory and did their shooting practice so that they could compete. And nobody even once thought about, I'm mad, I'm going to go get that gun, I'm going to just, take everybody out. It's a people problem. I think it's, there's lots of reasons why. We've got a morality problem that's declining in the country, and no one values life. And I don't know what the answer to that is other than that you need to get back to church and get back to a moral plane. But
then there's always going to be that family that doesn't go to church, that family that is kind of maybe a little weird or whatever. And there's always going to be somebody who's just a little off, be it label it mental illness, label it whatever the heck you want to label it. How do you can't stop all that. Never mind the fact people killed people long before guns existed. So.
And
I'm not saying it's okay to kill people. It's not.
It's not.
Don't anybody misinterpret what I just said. Todd thinks everybody should kill people because Cain and Abel and the Rock and all that stuff. He always does it. Yeah, whatever.
Murder's been around since the beginning of time. We're not going to stop it.
Right there in the Bible.
Do evil things. Yes. And, you just absolutely can't stop someone with the intent. You can try. Maybe you get lucky and you see the signs. Maybe you get lucky and you see it happening and you can intervene. But generally, when somebody has that mindset, and I don't know what that mindset is because I'm not that crazy. Some would maybe disagree, but I'm not crazy.
We weren't going to tell you till later, but now that you mention it, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
See the signs, okay, but the signs now it starts to, where does it stop? Because I know you're not in favor of red flag laws.
Right.
Sorry,
and red flag laws don't afford you due process. They just don't. So they can. It's you're trying to predict something that may never happen, and that's a slippery slope. And now we're seeing here again, the father was charged. I don't know the details whether it's warranted or not. We will find out. Hopefully, we'll get the facts on that. But We've already seen 2 cases where parents were charged and convicted and sentenced now. And I said it then that this is going to be a dangerous precedent, and here we go. And I imagine what's going to happen is this is going to happen a lot more. It might not be a quote mass shooting, which that's a whole other story we've done about how they define that nowadays. But is
it 2 or more, 3 or more? Does it have to be 6 or more? What's the magic number?
Well, there is an FBI definition. I believe it's 3 or 4. I don't remember off the top of my head, but the media seems to think even if there's just it used to be, with casualties, right? Now it's just if people are shot and injured, which there were, and they're all bad. Don't get me wrong. They're all bad.
Of course.
But at the same time this weekend, just before this happened, there was a shooting in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia of all places, at a gas station, and it was just as bad. It was worse. Of course, it doesn't fit a narrative that they like. We had the wrong segment of people involved in it. I'll just say it that way. And it went unnoticed. And there was 1 killed and several injured, and they called that a mass shooting. It was more of a suicide, but yeah.
Well, each person has their own individual mass, therefore is a mass shooting. Go back to science class. They'll teach you again, I guess.
Don't have any self-defense.
But you're right. If it happens in Philly, if it happens in South Chicago or whatever, it doesn't get covered like it does in the unexpected places.
Yeah. Heck, Todd, I didn't realize we had a little skirmish over there by New Salem, and we found out on the show on Wednesday. So, where was I? I guess I was under a rock that day. But
I told Abel to not aim at you, but can't. Red flag. Get the rock out of Kane's hand, so we don't have a problem with that. And now, so how much is this going to get politicized now? Because everybody that's always been kind of a critic of the Second Amendment is going to use this for red flag laws and take away the guns and all that.
Oh yeah, you got Representative Warnock. He's out there. He's from Georgia. He says, "Oh, we need the They use these great terms, these key words: common sense gun safety reforms, common sense gun laws. I mean, you just name your terminology, and they're out there using it. Harris is out there. She's really touting the assault weapons ban again. We had that assault weapons ban. It did nothing. It was in effect for 10 years. Nothing changed. Crime didn't really change that much. And when it went away, nothing changed. In fact, things went down. And then it has nothing to do with the, quote, AR-15 or even an AK-47, because those are all civilian models that are semi-autos, just like a Ruger 1022, your Remington shotguns, take an 1100. Take any of your semi-auto firearms. They all function the same way. The AR platform is just a nice platform to build on and accurate and easy to use, just like a lot of other guns. So this idea that these are weapons of war is bogus. I mean, I'll tell you what, that ain't really the one I want to take into war if I'm in that situation. I want something that's class 3. I want full auto. And there's special requirements to get those. So this idea that you ban AR-15s will solve the problem will never, ever have any effect other than on the law-abiding people, as any gun control law that takes place. It's always the law-abiding.
And now we go to an American president for this breaking news.
The other piece of legislation is the crime bill. As of today, it no longer exists. I'm throwing it out. I'm throwing it out and writing a law that makes sense. You cannot address crime prevention without getting rid of assault weapons and handguns. I consider them a threat to national security, and I will go door to door if I have to, but I'm going to convince Americans that I'm right, and I'm going to get the guns.
How long till that becomes the speech?
I don't know. Michael Douglas loved it in that movie, and I'm telling you,
it's actually a very well done movie. I just don't agree with that message, but whatever.
It just had that left leaning, part of it,
right?
But it wasn't a bad movie.
Oh.
But they already kind of saying. I mean, Harris was out there when she campaigned in 2020. People don't have short memories, and by the way, couldn't garner one delegate. Remember, she's never been elected to anything except the Attorney General's office. She got appointed to be a senator in the United States Senate. She got picked as the VP, and now she's been anointed to be their delegate. I'd be really pissed off if I was a Democrat right now, knowing that my vote really didn't count anywhere. But anyway, she's out there, and in 2020 she said, I support a mandatory, she says, I will have a mandatory buyback program of all guns, especially assault weapons. And you can't do it. A, you can't buy back something you never owned. And 2, good luck with that. You're kind of like Michael Douglas there. You're going to go door to door? I wouldn't suggest that.
Here's what's going to happen. The same thing with the CO2 pipeline, eminent domain. That's how they'll get the gun.
There you go.
It's not going to be a mandatory buyback, because how do you make that But if it's eminent domain, then it is mandatory, and you're going to take what we give you, you're going to like it, and you're going to sit down and be a good little boy or girl.
Yeah, that's like in the movie 300. All you have to do is bend the knee. It's going to be a problem.
This feeling I just opened a can of worms I'm going to regret opening, but there we are. It's Clay, Guns in the 701. We've got more coming up on K-Fire.
Okay.
Lauer Auto
Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
Ever tried catching a fish with your bare hands or hunting a deer with a stick? Don't be that guy. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we've got all the hunting and camping gear you need. We're your one-stop shop for outdoor adventure.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Check us out at mandansportinggoods.com, or better yet, stop in to 210 East Main Street, Mandan, North Dakota. Mandan Sporting Goods, where the outdoors meets functionality. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Closed Sunday. Take up arms at Mandan Sporting Goods. Your adventure starts here.
Looking for the best gun gear for every and any situation? Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
Yeah, hey, look, I got the moves like Michael, the flow like Aubrey, walk around thinking I'm a prince like Saudi. Mismatched Converse, t-shirts tucked in, know my worth, can't tell me nothing. White Nikes, albino, can cop my stilo, head to the top, bottom line is a motto.
845 Guns in the 701 here at K-Fire 550, and Clay and I were just talking, and we've come to the conclusion that if Kamala Harris did campaign in North Dakota, it would be in Fargo, talking like they did in the movie Fargo.
Oh, yeah, you bet.
Yeah, sure. If we if you vote for us, sure. We'll... Why is that? Why did they go back to that? Hillary did that and was mocked. Why in the world does the Kamala campaign think it's going to work for them?
I have no clue, but I don't know why Democrats in general, when they get on that national stage, it's like, oh, we got to go see if we can talk like the stereotypes out there. Ain't they the ones that always say don't be making stereotypes, don't judge people. And that's exactly what they do. And it's just embarrassing. It truly is. And I don't think it wins any votes. In fact, I know it don't win any
votes. On a
votes.
good day, it's pandering, which is bad enough. Yeah. But on a more typical day, it's just rude.
Insane. It's just dumb.
It's like, you don't talk like that. Don't talk like that. You know?
Just be yourself. And Trump's, you know what? People can say what they want about Trump. Trump is always Trump. Whether you like him or not, he's always Trump.
You could stick Trump in southern Alabama the rest of his life, and he still wouldn't talk like a southerner.
No, he wouldn't.
You stick Kamala Harris there for 10 seconds, and all of a sudden, y'all. But anyway,
I'm gonna make things better for you. Yeah.
By now, you might have seen the walls for Trump, and say what you want, but I bet there's no faction of the Trump family that's gonna get in a big picture of T-shirts that say Trumpers for Harris or whatever it would say.
I would bet not. I thought it was an interesting thing, and I was telling you in the break there, I'm working on something with some contacts maybe with this guy. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Jeff Walz, that's Tim Walz's brother. He's not a fan of his brother. In fact, the way I understand it, he hasn't talked to his brother for 8 years, so there's a loving family, right?
Well, I can't. I got parts of my family I ain't talked to for 30 or 40, so I guess I can't say much there, but still.
Happens. It definitely happens. But yeah, I just kind of, he made some remarks on his Facebook page, I guess, in 2023, and said something on the order, we've just become a third world banana republic. And that was when that whole New York case was going on with Trump. And then he starts in on his brother. He says, I'm opposed to his ideology. He says, I haven't talked to him in 8 years. He says, my family wasn't given notice that he was even being selected, and we denied the security days after. And then he made the response. This is what he says. I've thought about doing, he basically said that that's not the type of character you want making decisions about your future. That's what he said in reference to his brother. That's pretty bold, really.
Yeah, it's coming out of your own family. My gosh.
Yeah. And then, somebody must have asked him if he was going to get up there with Trump or something. And I think it'd be a great idea. If I was Trump, I'd probably have him come up there. Why don't you come up on stage?
Why would you not?
Say hi. Bring your family.
You know darn good well if there is somebody in the Trump family who's in favor of Harris, that they would absolutely parade that person around.
Oh, absolutely. If you could find a person like that. And who knows, I suppose somewhere in the deep, dark stretches of the family, maybe there is. I don't know. But these guys...
They'll find it if there is. And there probably is. Yeah. There's even a conservative hike camp out there, so anything's possible.
Yes, there is, isn't there? In fact, he's
Hi, Jason. How you doing? Anyway.
Yep, Jason.
This seems like a good dude, but yeah.
I seen that, and I seen that T-shirt, and I thought, boy, that's a big statement. And I don't know, they say they weren't trying to, some people said they're not trying to bring attention themselves, and like you and I were talking. I think that was a big statement to bring attention.
Yeah. Because if somebody didn't want to be in the picture, I bet they were, given a pass. All right, fine, get out of the picture then.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone really wanted. It looked like to me they were pretty energetic all the way down to grandma,
Absolutely.
So I can't help it. It just does not help. And they brought Walz on to try and make him seem like a folksy guy, and I don't know why they thought that would work. In a pander.
Well, I will say he comes off as a little bit more, like you say, folksy, down to earth. Whereas he plays to a different crowd than she does, so the combination isn't the worst idea in the world. But still,
his delivery was horrible.
Well, that's just it. How much of it is genuine versus how much of it is just the way it kind of looks, so you take an image and run with it. And I don't know.
It did not work. And, I look at I see that his brother comes out now, and boom. That does not help that image, and I don't know if it was helping much as anyway. I only really watch. I don't watch a lot of polls. The one I do watch is Reuters, Rasmussen, and I can tell you that guy has been correct. He was correct in 2020. As much as I hated hearing his analysis, but he basically said Trump wasn't going to win in 2020. He said he was going to win in 2016. I mean, he has predicted it for decades. And he's saying Trump's going to win this one, and that bump was very little, and that she's in trouble. And Walz isn't helping that. And the stolen valor thing with this guy, I mean, it's undeniable. I don't care what their campaign says. I don't care if he gets on CNN and says, well, I misspoke. No, you didn't misspeak.
Yeah, that's not misspeaking.
No, you absolutely just lied because you thought it'd be politically positive for your campaign, and you thought no one would call you out on it because nobody does a lot of times on things like that. They just, oh, okay, great, yeah.
Misspeaking. Clay Guns in the 701. Hey, Jamie texted us. Trump's sister was on PMSNBC bashing him, so apparently they're one step ahead of us when it comes to finding things on the left. My mind isn't wired that way, so I guess I'm not looking over there. But Jamie, good to see that you're watching MSNBC for us, so we don't have to. I'm just kidding.
I'm just show when they got to watch the stuff and they say, "Hey, we'll let you. We'll watch it so you don't have to."
By the way.